So we go back to our breaking news from the top of this broadcast. The confirmation of Supreme Court nominee Judge Brett Kavanaugh is all but guaranteed. 51-49 after all but one Republican senator announced their support. And breaking party lines, it is Democratic Senator Joe Manchin who also pledged to vote for Judge Kavanaugh. The full Senate will hold the final vote tomorrow. We want to bring in NBC's White House correspondent Jeff Bennett. Jeff, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it. Give us a sense of what you are hearing from the White House and their reaction to all that has transpired over the last couple of hours.
Hey, Jeff, great to see you. Well, I can tell you that White House officials in the press shop broke out in applause after Maine Senator Susan Collins wrapped up her speech on the Senate floor, where she said that she would vote in support of Brett Kavanaugh. And her speech just wasn't an explanation of why she was going to do that. Really, it was a full-throated endorsement of Brett Kavanaugh. So she delivered the party, the Republican Party, White House officials here, a major boost because it wasn't entirely clear how this vote was going to go. Because remember, Lisa Murkowski, the Republican from Alaska today, said that she was not going to vote in order to let the debate move forward. So that suggested that she would vote against Kavanaugh in the final tally. But now it stands that Susan Collins is going to vote yes. Jeff Flake suggested to us today that he would vote yes. And Joe Manchin, the Democrat from West Virginia, all supporting Brett Kavanaugh. So this is a great day for President Trump and for White House officials because remember, even Republicans who say they supported Donald Trump and still had misgivings with Donald Trump the man, they supported him in part because they knew that he had the chance of cementing a right-leaning majority on the Supreme Court for a generation, perhaps longer than that. And so now we expect that Brett Kavanaugh will be confirmed because he certainly has the votes as I stand here and talk to you at the moment. And so Donald Trump tomorrow and thereafter then gets to say that he now has two conservative Supreme Court justices on the court, Neil Gorsuch and perhaps now Brett Kavanaugh.
For Republicans who voted in 2016, particularly conservatives, this seat was as important as the White House itself. I mean, this has been the driving engine as to why they wanted a Republican in the White House for the election in 2016. Yeah. So mission accomplished for many of those conservatives who viewed that as the prime directive.
It's a great point, and I can tell you that White House officials just this past week, even though they were, I'd say, optimistic that this would be the ultimate outcome, they were certainly nervous about it, but they feel like they did enough to give Republican lawmakers, not just Republicans, but any wavering senator, the political cover they needed to vote for Brett Kavanaugh. So they allowed this FBI investigation to go forward. It's a debate as to whether or not you think that that was a full investigation. That can be debated. But the White House certainly allowed that to go forward. And then they urged Brett Kavanaugh to write that op-ed in the Wall Street Journal where he really neutralized the criticism, or tried to neutralize the criticism that some people leveled against him for that really personal and partisan defense of himself that he offered up in that Thursday hearing, which really created questions about whether or not he could be seen as a neutral jurist. So on those two fronts, the White House feels like they did enough and that they feel like they're confident that this vote will go their way come tomorrow.
Jeff Bennett from outside the White House, thank you. We appreciate your observations. Have a great weekend.